back to episode 3 of the Gasp podcast. I'm Richie.
And I'm Zach.
And today we have some news to share with you. Before we jump into this video, I want to go ahead and light the candle of the week with you guys. And it's actually date night. Many of you guys have probably bought your own date night before because it's one of my top sellers on my website, westnovelties.com. And it's also very romantic. And you guys know Valentine's Day is right around the corner. And you might have heard me mention in a past video that Zach and I are working on our first ever collaborative project. We did come up with the name today. And we already have an idea of like what we want the labels to look like. I'm gonna be doing something I've never done before with this particular candle, kind of stepping out of my comfort zone. And Zach's helping me do that. So stay tuned for the name of our first ever candle together at the end of the video, because we're going to be sharing all of that, all the tea, all the details, all that jazz.
All the love that went into it.
Exactly. So now we're going to go ahead and jump into a new segment that I just came up with today with Zach, and that is our prolapses of the week and our climaxes of the week. So you guys are probably like, what the heck does that even mean? We were originally calling this segment our highlights and our downfalls, but that was a little boring, right?
Yeah, it just seemed very clinical, you know?
Yeah, just too boring.
Too boring.
So we thought prolapse is something totally negative. You know, nobody thinks of something positive when they think of prolapse.
No one wants a prolapse.
Plus it kind of rhymes with climax. So it rings nicely and it's kind of silly and goofy, right? And everybody loves a good climax.
Oh, I know I do.
So, Zach, why don't you go ahead and tell us your prolapse of the week?
I would have to say my prolapse for the week was getting sick on Tuesday. I actually picked up a stomach bug. I woke up in the morning ready to go, and all of a sudden a stomach bug just hits me, and the next 2 days I just couldn't keep food or water down. It was miserable, but we're feeling better now. We're healthy, we're happy, and that's long past us.
I'm glad, because he was in pretty rough shape there it was only 2 days, but...
Wouldn't recommend getting a stomach bug, guys. It's not fun.
I think I would have to mention this particular thing because it was totally out of my cards. Like, I did not expect it to happen. I woke up one morning and walked out of my door and there was a whole streak of grease, I'm guessing, or oil or some kind of like mechanical engine fluid that was like squirted all over my house and my neighbor's house from the trash truck. And I woke up that same morning to Lucky. It was super early. And Lucky was going crazy, and people were sprinkling what looked like kitty litter like right in front of my house, like on my porch and everything. I'm like, what the heck is going on? And I was like half awake and everything. I only had underwear on, so I wasn't about to open my door and be like, what's going on? You know what I mean? So anyway, they came back a couple days later and cleaned it up, and there was still oil everywhere, like on the garage door, on the building. And of course, my house is the worst of it all. It looked like it just broke down right there. And the craziest thing is I have a doorbell camera, and I looked at it on my doorbell camera, and I only see the time when the trash truck was at my neighbor's house. The period of time when the situation happened with the oil was totally blocked out of my camera. It was like missing from my camera. So something weird happened. I don't know. There's still oil everywhere, and it's such an eyesore, but I don't want to complain too much. I just don't know what to do. What do you guys suggest I do? Do I just suck it up? I don't know. Zach's seen it too. Isn't it bad?
It's pretty obvious. You can see it from a distance away.
And today, it's been raining today, so you can't see it, but when that rain dries up, it's super dark. It looks like almost like skid marks from a car.
Yeah, it does. Like tire marks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just weird. I don't know. But it could be worse.
It could be.
That's my saying. It could be worse. So let's go ahead and share our climaxes of the week. Why don't you go ahead and start us out?
I would say my climax of the week started off it didn't really start off as a climax, but then it kind of worked its way up into it. So I had tickets to go to this event with a friend. It was a circuit party. I've never been to a circuit party before. Really has never been my scene. But I just decided to go and try it out. My friend had a ticket and he's like, come on, let's go. Just if you don't enjoy it, we can leave.
Right.
So we get dressed up and I'm wearing next to nothing basically. I'm wearing a crop top and short shorts and cowboy boots because at circuit parties you wear little to nothing.
Yeah, they wear like harnesses and booty shorts and leather sometimes.
Not for me, but
And
to each
spikes
their own.
and
Yeah, they go pretty
I've
crazy.
seen
there.
bedazzled ones too with like rhinestones on them and stuff.
Oh yeah, those ones
that
are
would be
cool.
like yours.
I don't think I'd ever see myself in a harness. I don't know, I can't.
Little devil horns and like wings.
I mean, if you make it like very aesthetically pleasing, you know?
Yeah.
But
Guys, tell us in the comments section, could you see Zach in a harness? And if you could, what kind? Let us know. We
oh my
wanna
god,
know.
this is gonna be interesting. I can't wait to read those. So it's already cold out. I'm dressed in next to nothing. My friend's not really, dressed for the weather either. We get to this bar and there's literally 2 people where this event is. It's cold, it's wet, it's rainy, only 2 people up there, and of course, no one's dressed for a circuit party.
Yeah.
So I just looked crazy.
I don't think you came to the conclusion it wasn't a circuit party, right?
It was
a miscommunication of some sort.
It was a big miscommunication. That's what we read though. That's
Yeah.
what they were advertising it as.
So you just kind of got there and were like in a crop top and ready for the circuit. Were you with anyone?
Yeah, I was with one of my friends actually.
Were they like fully geared up and ready to go for the circuit party?
They weren't like wearing like a harness and underwear or anything.
That's what I
but they were
thought.
wearing a t-shirt and shorts. So I mean,
I'm picturing Zach and his friend in a harness and in a crop top showing up to this I don't know, dive bar and just looking around
Oh, it was like that. It was like, that scene in Pretty Woman where she goes into that fancy store dressed as a hooker.
I've probably only seen that movie once.
I think you guys would know. It's where she gets refused service in the store because of how she's dressed. It felt like that. It felt like all eyes were on me. I'm like, I don't belong here. But the night ended up taking a good turn. We ended up going to another bar, and it turned out to be a really fun night. We met some cool people, and although the night didn't go as we planned it out to be, we made the best of it.
Great. Well, that sounds like a success then, right?
I would say so.
Turning or lemons into lemonade. I was going to say turning apples into oranges.
I was going to say, apples and oranges are both good.
They're great. Okay, well, I'll go ahead with my climax of the week. And that was actually something I completed today, which is switching my office to my filming room. And it's something I've been wanting to do for a while, but something I've been kind of pushing back because I knew it was going to take so long. I basically had to break down all my furniture and then put it back together and all of my office stuff and my candles one by one. I finally completed it and I will be showing you guys what it looks like now, where I'll be filming my content and working on my website and editing my videos. Almost like an office tour and a filming studio tour. So I hope you guys are looking forward to that. That will be in my first episode of Lucky Adventures, which will be up soon. I'm not exactly sure when. I think that was my climax, was just moving my workspace into something new and different and mixing it up and changing things up, because I'm the type of person where when I do something for too long, I get bored of it. I lose interest, I lose productivity. And I find that even just rearranging my bedroom, I sleep better, and my living room. Zach, he probably knows this about me too. like how much I'm changing things up. It's like every time he comes over,
Yeah.
I have a different layout.
I'm like, what did you do now? Literally. I'm like, wasn't this just here like a week ago?
Yeah, and I've been that way since I was a kid. Like I would move around my bedroom and everything, my little twin mattress. My dad didn't care, so I just did what I wanted. But I just get bored of things and I have to change it up and like mix it up. So I'm feeling good now and I'm excited to jump into the week and just, hit the ground running. So that was our climaxes and prolapses of the week. I hope you guys find a little chuckle out of that segment. Now let's get into some gay news. We found some great news and we want to weigh in our opinions on that with you guys. So Zach, why don't you start us out again?
All right. So something that I've recently been reading about is the Florida GOP is right now trying to pass a bill that bans the gay pride flag from flying in schools and government buildings. I read up on the article a lot, and I do have to say it's something that does leave you feeling conflicted about where to go to with that. Personally, on my opinion, I don't think that a gay pride flag should be hanging in an elementary school. Well, it's like I grew up being gay, and of course I didn't really know much what it was back then. I didn't know much about it. All I knew was that I was different, I liked boys.
And we're talking under the age of like 10, right? Because you get to middle school at 11.
Around
right?
that time, yeah. 11 was when I started.
Yeah.
And I mean, we didn't have any of that to really guide us back then. And we all turned out okay. I mean, we had like some gay themed books in the library. We had the GSA, but I feel like, I don't know, flying a flag in school and banning the teachings of like all this like ideology and everything, I don't think it should be shoved down kids' throats. I don't think it should. It's not really about tolerance. I believe in tolerance and love. I practice it, I preach it, I love it. But there comes a time though where it's just, you have to realize, even growing up, not everyone's gonna like you or accept you. And you shouldn't have to cram yourself down someone's throat just to gain their respect.
I don't know. I kind of go back to walking home from school and going into the local bookstore because there was this book that showed you vivid, intimate positions, and me and my friends would look at those before we had access to the internet, like free access to the internet.
That's how we did it back then.
So, I mean, that sounds crazy, but that even little stuff like that was like, whoa. And I shouldn't have been doing that. It obviously was a book for adults, but kids are going to find a way either way. I just think, like what Zach said, in school, and especially in elementary school, it's inappropriate. I actually found a news article related to Madonna. I know a lot of you guys probably are Madonna fans. What are her fans called? Madonners?
I don't think she has a name for her fans.
Madams, I don't know. Something. But Madonna is being sued by 2 of her concert goers for showing up 2 hours late to her concert.
2 hours?
2 hours.
I can get like 20 minutes, but 2 hours is insane.
And this isn't the first time it's happened either. The 2 concert goers are suing Madonna, her touring company, as well as the venue for false advertising and negligent misrepresentation. She was late for all 3 of her concerts last month in Brooklyn by 2 hours. And she was also sued in 2019 as well for the same thing. So Madonna's not the only celebrity that does this, but I think it's important to be punctual. Even if you've been in the industry and you've proven yourself, I still think it's important to hold up that responsibility and that image of professionalism just for the next generation. Mm-hmm. You don't want it to seem like it's okay to be lazy or unprofessional or kind of hard to work with for the next guy or the next girl that is after you. Because then it just is kind of like a snowball effect. It just gets worse and worse and worse.
They just make it seem okay.
And then they just start canceling and not I mean, who knows what it could turn into, but Madonna, get it together, girl.
I know. What is she doing?
I would love to go to a Madonna concert, but if she's going to show up 2 hours late, I will not wait there past an hour late. Even an hour is a kind of understandable if something happened, but if this was like the first time it happened, technical difficulties, whatever. This has happened more times than I could find on the internet. So let's just say, so far recorded, it's happened 3 times.
That's insane. 3 strikes, you're out at that point.
In 1 month.
1 month?
In 1 month. Last month, her 3 concerts in Brooklyn.
How is she
where
doing?
you lived. Mm-hmm. They weren't canceled, but they were late. And I know this isn't like the end of the world, but I just think it's interesting because Madonna's an icon, and I think sometimes a lot of icons, celebrities, when they get to that period in their career, they think that they're untouchable and they can just do what they want. And technically they can, but it's not a good look.
Mm-hmm. People will still talk bad.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Our time still matters as well.
Think about all those people that paid all the money for the tickets too. It's like...
And we were talking earlier, think of all the extra money they probably spent that they weren't planning to spend waiting around for Madonna. Like, you're not just going to sit there and play on your phone. You're probably going to get hungry. You're probably going to get thirsty, if you know what I mean. So you'll probably spend more money for the venue, which is good for the venue. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and move on to the gay-themed movie suggestion. So Zach, why don't you go ahead and start us out again and share with us your movie suggestion for the week.
Okay. So I recently just watched this film. It's on YouTube. Now, you guys know how I like old Hollywood. This is going really far back into that era. This is a film from 1927. It's a silent film. And this movie in particular, it's not really considered a gay movie, but it has like suggested gay undertones. And there's actually a very important part in there that I'm going to explain in a minute that kind of gave it a lot of like this kind of gay recognition almost. Like this gay, kind of legacy.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So the movie I'm referencing is Wings. It came out in 1927. It stars Richard Arlen, Charles Buddy Rogers, and Clara Bow, who was actually dubbed the it girl of the 1920s. Like how Margot Robbie is now, that was basically who Clara Bow was, if we want to like do an equivalent.
Interesting.
Yeah, no, she was in almost everything. The plot's about these 2 friends that are pining after the same girl. World War I is on the brink of starting, and these 2 friends actually end up joining the military. They join a band of fighter pilots, and it basically chronicles their lasting friendship throughout this conflict. Now, the one part of the movie, though, that has actually made this famous is this movie actually contains the first ever recorded same-sex kiss on film.
Wow.
It is, and this part can be interpreted, like I said, as different things. They could just be 2 friends that care for each other, or it can have that gay like undertone, that they couldn't blatantly show back then.
Yeah.
But contains the first gay kiss scene with Richard Arlen and Charles Buddy Rogers. So
Iconic.
very iconic.
I would love to see that with you, but I don't know. How would it be watching a silent movie with someone?
Well, as long as like there's music playing, I mean, it makes it less awkward.
Oh, okay.
Because you know how like they used to play the piano for them back then?
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Like, do-do-do-do-do, yeah.
And it's like sped up really fast.
Mm-hmm. And they change like the music for like each scene. Like for a chase scene, they would do like a da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I haven't seen any silent movies fully through, but cartoons and like short clips and stuff I've seen. What are the Three Stooges? Aren't they silent film?
I think they started off as silent, and then they worked its way into the talkies when that became more of a thing.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I thought so, something like that. Well, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I'll share my movie suggestion, and I'm sure many of you guys have heard of this one, and that is Brokeback Mountain. And I wanted to share this because Brokeback Mountain is honestly my gay awakening. I first saw it when I was around 10 or 11 years old. I'm going to say 10.
Oh, that's young.
So, yeah. And it was playing on TV. And I made sure at the time when I saw it playing, I switched it real quick, but I remembered the channel and I finished my dinner really quick and went to my room and locked my door and finished watching the movie. And I stayed up and finished watching the movie, and it actually made me cry. My 10-year-old self, it made me cry, because you guys know it's a sad movie if you've seen it. But that was my gay awakening, and I just think it was a really beautiful movie. It still is. It was really well done. I also started a huge crush on Heath Ledger. I just think, even to this day, he's such a beautiful man.
Yeah, rest in peace.
Rest in peace, Heath. But yeah, I wanted to share that with you guys. If you haven't seen it, you definitely should. And if you have, let me know what you thought about it down in the comments, because maybe you didn't think it was the best movie. I don't know. Let me know. I also think that it's cool to see movies that are intended to take place back in like the early, in the 50s and the 60s and the 70s, just like Brokeback is. I like the use of the old. It's just cool to see the old way of life in a way, because we didn't grow up in that era, so it's cool to see like the old vehicles and just kind of the ruggedness.
What came before us?
Yeah, and they're just the Midwest and Wyoming, or the Wild West back then. It's cool, and I always saw myself experiencing that ranch life in a way, and I think that movie kind of started that kind of desire for me. So yeah, I love Brokeback Mountain.
It's a classic.
It's beautiful. So I think that's most of it for this episode of the Gasp podcast, but we do want to share with you guys the name of our first candle together. And if you're ready for it, we're ready too.
We're ready too.
Ready?
Yeah.
All right. Well,
I'm ready.
The name of this candle is Passion Potion.
We both came up with that name?
We did. Mm-hmm. I came up with the passion part. And
I came up with the potion.
Yes. My original thought was serum, but potion sounds much better and more magical.
More mystical.
Yes.
Whimsical.
And
yeah.
it fits this scent perfectly, you guys. This scent makes you feel like you are entranced by a seductive energy with notes of black cherry and sweet, tarty juiciness. Like, that's just the best way to explain it. It smells like a heart made out of juice, like dripping into your mouth.
That actually sounds really good.
Doesn't it?
That's making me thirsty.
Isn't that like a great description of the candle?
That is, yeah. When you
black cherry juice. And guys, how sensual are cherries? I mean,
cherries are the most romantic fruit.
I wish I had one right here. Mm-hmm. And we're also going to be designing the label together. And just so you guys know, this candle, Passion Potion, will be available starting February 1st for Valentine's Day. That's the reason we're creating it, because we want to create a passionate potion for you guys. There's no other better way to say it.
Potion that makes you feel passion.
That just about wraps us up. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode of the Gasp podcast. This was episode 3, and I hope you liked it.
3 is a magic number, guys.
3 is a charm.
Let's go on to 4 now.
Yeah. All right, we'll see you on the flip side. Bye, guys.
Bye.